We are waiting for more people to come in because apparently there's some, we only have 10 people in right now because we're getting lots of error messages from, we're getting a lot of calls in that we're getting error messages that GoToMeeting's having problems and they're working hard to get it fixed. So we're going to just give them about 5 minutes and then otherwise we'll just go ahead and go ahead and they'll have to listen to the replay. But since they're working hard, usually GoToMeeting's very good about getting this stuff fixed. We're going to give them about 5 minutes to see if they can get it fixed. In the meantime, anybody have any questions about anything that's going on? Any things you'd like Jeff and I to discuss here in the next 5 minutes as we're waiting for see if they can fix things? Nope, you just want Jeff and I to give you a bunch of information. That's good. So Jeff, you have prepared remarks, don't you?
I left my emergency go-to remarks.
Script at home.
Yeah, I wasn't. Yeah.
I'm not seeing any more people come in, but we'll give them 1 or 2 more minutes here, guys, and then we'll go ahead and get started. It's the call today is about marketing, so we want to make sure everybody hears this, and not only marketing, but cheap marketing. So everybody's interested in cheap marketing. So we're going to have 42 and sunny today here in Minnesota in the middle of February. So we are happy campy. So Matt Starkey, what do you got going on your weather-wise? How about Greg, Joe, Mark, Mary, what do you got going? 32 degrees and sunny. That's cool. $32. Matt, where are you? Where's Matt? And we're going to be warmer than you?
Yeah.
Oh, that's Michigan, yeah. So, yeah, maybe our stuff is coming your ways. Oh, Greg says wind is wreaking havoc in Jersey. Oh, I saw in the news. Yeah, Greg, that's bad out there. So hopefully that gets out soon for you, Greg. Yeah. Oh, no, loss of power and everything. Hopefully, Matt, it gets back to you. Our weather gets to you tomorrow, so. I don't see any more people coming in, so we're going to go 70 in Sunnydale. That's awesome.
Yeah, GoTo is still having some issues, and every once in a while a couple people pop in, but unfortunately it looks like for the most part we're communicating with people that they're not getting in. So.
Okay, so we're going to go ahead. We're going to go ahead with the meeting, and then everybody else will just have to watch the replay. So congrats to those that you got in. So we'll get started here. So as usual, we always talk about please watch and follow through on the 5-minute moneymaker. So this last week's was, unfortunately, we have all clients pass away, so how do we treat their spouses? Give a little 6 points on how you deal with spouses when they die. So I would keep this email someplace in files or in your email so that when something happens, you have kind of a checklist to go through when you lose a client. And then 5-minute or the 5Q breakdown, tape breakdown in this 10-second clip, we learn how to start a meeting out on the right foot. If you don't, you're setting yourself up for a defensive meeting. So how to get that meeting started correctly. So we learn from other people's missteps. So good. And can you give me some feedback? Are these 5-minute things, are they helpful to you? And we only got 10, 15 people on, it looks like right now. So good. Greg's saying good. Very good. Thanks, Greg. Okay, so one of the things that I noticed that some people are missing out on, and this is a big boo-boo, is that if you go to Organizing Office Flow, so if we go to Getting Started, Toolbox, and then Organizing Office Flow, there's a manual for this, and here's what I want you to get out of that manual. When you bring on a client, what I want to talk about is down here, but let's just talk about when you bring in a client, photocopy all signed paperwork, provide copies to the client, add policy to submitted business tracking sheet, and we have those tracking sheets if you don't have it, so you can make sure that you know how long something's been out there, what's happened, do you need to follow up on it, etc. So make sure you add it to that. Once a contract is received in your office, contact the client to set up their contract delivery appointment. Prepare a client flow chart. I always did this for clients so they always know where that money's going. So it's a simple flow chart of where the money went, or where the money came from and where it was going to. So otherwise, especially if you got a lot of different things happening where you got 2 or 3 different accounts going, they get confused, and confusion leads to what, guys? Second thoughts. So the flow chart's very easy. It says, oh, my American funds went to down here to this. Oh, my IRA went to these 2 things. Oh, my, and it's just a simple flow chart so they can see that, and it gives them confidence that they know what's going on. And then photocopy client contract for office. But here's the thing that I find people are missing. As soon as I had a box, about 5 or 6 boxes of priority mail already set up. So there were boxes, and they had a $1 million blanket in it. That was my gift that I gave them for becoming a client, and I had them all ready to go. As soon as people signed paperwork to become a client, so I didn't wait even for the money to come in. As soon as the paperwork was signed, I sent out the client welcome kit. So when they left that office, yeah, we photocopied the paperwork, and we got that out. But then the next thing we did was we sent them a welcome letter, and again, this is in that manual that I was just talking about here. If I go back, in this Organize Your Office Flow manual, this is what we're looking at, is the actual pages in the manual. And you want to send that welcome letter and that blanket to them that day. Why do you want to do that, guys? Why do you want to send out that day they sign the paperwork? When are they going to get that package? When are they going to get that package, guys? The very next day. What's the importance of that? Anytime you buy something new, there's always that little voice in the back of your head saying, what? Did I do the right thing? So you want to make sure you get that. That's right. Eliminate buyer's remorse, Bob. So we want to get that kid out the day they sign paperwork, so they're getting it the next day. And so you see here we have a link to the blanket. They're $13 a piece, and just like this is your security blanket. I am now your security blanket. And I'll tell you what I did. I gave these out to people when I was in personal production, and it's amazing when I would visit their houses. Guess what they'd always have on the back of their couch? They'd have those blankets on the back of the couch. Now these are gaudy $1 million. They're like a big $1 million bill on the blanket. So they're gaudy, but so I don't know if they had them in their closet, and then when they knew I was coming over, they'd throw them on the back of the couch or what. But they were always sitting there on the back of the couch. It's a nice little $13 gift that goes a long way to making them feel good about what they've just done. And then also mail out the new client introduction letter to their CPA and attorney. And why do you do that? Because you don't want them squashing the deal. Also, guys, when I would have a CPA in a year, and it's weird how they come in clumps. In a year, I might have actually moved 10 people who had the same CPA. So if they've got this letter complimenting them on how great, what all the good things that their client said about them, and letting them know that I'm here to help them and work as a team, and they got 10 of those in 1 year, how many did they get from any other advisor? How many did they get from any other advisor? None. So what does that do then? It says, you know, they start to think, first of all, they don't get in the way of you moving clients, and second of all, it's a great way to set up a phone call, to have lunch, and start, and you know, with our CPA system, get them referring to you. So guys, don't ignore this. When you bring on a new client, you know what? You work long and hard to bring that client on. Lock it in, and this locks them in. This process locks them in. Make sense? So please make sure you're doing that. Okay, so as I said, we're going to talk a little bit about marketing today. So the guys are doing, we have lots of guys now doing the eye-to-eye since the beginning of the year, and it's the high time to be marketing. But in some areas, we can only use that eye-to-eye once a month. And so the other option is to go to a different city and then get market, use the eye-to-eye in another city, or we need to come up with other things. For those of you who want to be wild and crazy and keep marketing, we need to have another other marketing going on to mind the gap. So if you can only do one eye-to-eye per month, then these are the ideas that you can use. If you're struggling to figure out how to get money to do the eye-to-eye, first of all, talk to Jeff and myself. We can help you out. Or these are ideas to use. And these are things that you can use for pennies on the dollar. Pennies on the dollar.
Yeah, and what I always tell people is everyone out there, regardless of your situation, you fall into one of two categories. You have time or you have money. And so sometimes if you have money, well, then you can just spend money to get people into your office, and it's not a problem. You can have that activity that you need, because really, guys, activity is so important. It's so hard to learn the system. It's so hard to get off square one. It's so hard to do anything if you don't have people to see. So people to see is so important, and you just have to have ways to get people stuffed into the pipeline so that you always have people. There's not a week that goes by that you're not seeing somebody. I will tell you from experience in talking to people that it's virtually impossible to have a calendar like that if you're only doing marketing one way. As good as eye-to-eye is, if that's all you're doing, like Mike talked about, you might only be able to do that once or twice. You might be able to do it twice a month, but maybe only for the first quarter, and then you have to take a break. You need these things that Mike's going to talk about to kind of fill in those gaps that don't cost a lot of money to get you up and going. Because if you have money, you can go ahead and market any way you want to get people into your office constantly. If you don't have money, then you have time. Because the only reason you wouldn't have money is because you're not seeing people and you're not closing cases, so you have time to do these things. So we're going to talk about a lot of things, and these are things that you have to do. I don't care how successful you are, to make sure that you have that constant flow of activity.
So, well, thanks, Jeff. And then here's the thing, guys. When Jeff and I talk to you, and JV and Jerry talk to you at ECA, we're going to be asking you one question, which is, what's your plan to get in front of people this month? So if you don't have a plan to get in front of people this month, then guess what we're going to recommend? You get an eye-to-eye going. If you don't have the money to do an eye-to-eye going, then you need to be doing one of the things I'm going to talk about today, okay? Because if you're not seeing more people, what's the point of having the 21-point checklist is the goose that laid the golden egg. If we get the clients to say that they don't trust their advisor, not once, but a dozen times in an hour and a half to 2 hours, if they say in their own words they can't trust their advisor, what are they going to do with their money? What are they going to do with their money? Move it. When? Now. What if they're a plate licker and a tire kicker? What if they're a plate licker and a tire kicker and they love their guy when they woke up that morning? If they tell after spending an hour and a half with you, even though they woke up and they love their guy that morning, if you do the 21-point checklist right, you've done the tutorials, you get them to the point where they're assigning motive to the things that guy quote-unquote forgot to do, and they say, I can't trust this guy, even though they loved him this morning, what are they going to want to do? Move all their money right now. So if that's the case, how many ways should we be using to get in front of people? And I want everybody to answer. We only got, oh good, it looks like we're up to about 20 people, which is about 20% of what we normally have, but we don't have as many people as we normally have, but what should we be doing? If we know that we have scripts, tutorials to do that, and you've learned the tutorials, how many ways should you be using to get in front of people? All we can. That's the answer, Bob. All we can. Use all we can. I mean, it's like an ATM. When you get in front of people, you get them to say that they're going to move your money. How many people do you want to get in front of? I guess you're going to figure out as many ways as possible till you're making the kind of money you want to make. And that's your business. I'm not going to tell you need to make $1 million a year. If you're happy with a $500,000, terrific. But doing this, you can make $2 million a year. Because if you got people that will say, listen, I don't trust my advisor, will you take all my money? Geez, life is good. I want to get in front of as many people as those. If you had a slot machine that every time you pulled the lever, you made money, how many times do you pull that lever, guys? That's what you have. Okay? So who should we market to? Well, people who need and want what I have to offer, people that I can qualify, people who are qualified for what I offer, people who can afford what I offer, and people can be approached on a favorable basis. Now, the eye-to-eye doesn't do this. The eye-to-eye gets you in front of the same people we always get you in front of, which is with normal type of marketing, which is plate lickers and tire kickers. I don't care if you do a seminar, you do an eye-to-eye, you do a mailing, you do a radio show, you do whatever. What you're getting is what? People who want to move their money to you, or plate lickers and tire kickers? Which one? When you do normal type of marketing, what kind of people are you going to get in front of? People that want to move their money to you, people that are pre-sold, or people that are plate lickers and tire kickers? Which one? Radio show, marketing, seminars. That's right, Greg. It's cold people, plate lickers and tire kickers. Because if there was really marketing that pre-sold, who'd be doing it? If radio shows really pre-sold people, guess who'd be doing radio shows? Guess who could do a wonderful radio show? All the insurance companies, all the money managers, all the mutual fund companies. And guess who they'd kick out, take out of the picture? You and I. We're their biggest expense. That only gets you in front of cold people, and then real people like you have to convince them to leave their current situation and move their money to you if you have a better offer. So marketing gets you in front of not pre-sold people, gets you in front of plate lickers and tire kickers. What I want to talk about today is actually getting you in front of these people here, which are people who need and want what I offer, that qualify for them, that can afford them, and they can be approached on a favorable basis. Warm people. So we've got all sorts of marketing to get you in front of cold people, tire kickers, and plate lickers. We've got seminars, we've got the eye-to-eye, we've got mailings, we've got all sorts of things to get you in front of cold people. But what I want to talk about is how do we get you in front of the warm people? Because if you can use the eye-to-eye, if you can use the 21-point checklist to sell cold people, plate lickers, and tire kickers, how easy is it going to be to sell warm people? Unbelievably easy. And too many of us walk away from these people. So I'm going to talk about that today. We want to use the power of leverage with our center of influence, with our circle of people we know. We want to use the Tupperware mentality. And the Tupperware mentality is what? We market to our friends, the people who we know need what we have. It's the Tupperware mentality. And guys, how many people or how many women make or do Tupperware parties, Longenberger basket parties, Mary Kay? And do you know what the average Mary Kay person makes per party, or the average Tupperware person makes per party? Give me an idea what you think somebody makes when they do a party. Now, squat is $232 is the average. And yet they do them. Why? So here's the thing. If they're going to leverage their friends to make $232, when you leverage your clients, your warm prospects, your friends, neighbors, and relatives, guess what? Now, the way I'm going to talk about doing it is not an intrusive way. It's not going to be like when, I won't name the insurance company. It's an awesome insurance company that trains new people right out of college. And what do? First thing they say is, give me a list of your names and relatives and then go out and sell them an insurance policy. No, we're not going to do that. But there are ways to leverage your circle of friends, your clients, that is not intrusive. It's actually considered helpful. And you guys are not doing them, okay? So we want a group that's large enough to provide continued flow of prospects and self-perpetuating. If we use our circle of friends, clients, prospects, the ones that we already have, it's self-perpetuating. What do you think I mean by self-perpetuating? Well, as we bring in more people, more clients, guess what? We have more people to leverage these things I'm talking about. So it keeps building on itself. They all have common characteristics. Well, people of the like feather flock together. So if they're great clients, we want more people like that. Common needs, again, they're all the same, so they're going to have the same needs. And a group that shares information through either formal or informal channels. Guys, our clients, our warm prospects, our friends and family, they all fall into this, okay? And unless you're doing the things I'm talking about today, you're missing a huge opportunity. And I'm not talking about calling them up and trying to beat them about the head and shoulders. Now, a lot of you are saying, yeah, but I've worn my list out, and and my clients don't want to give me referrals. I get it. I laugh. I laugh at all these referral books. Geez, there's hundreds of referrals books that have been written. There's thousands of referral articles that have been written. And guess what? It's the same old crap over and over and over again. Because referrals don't work. Not when the way the people tell us to go about them. They say, hey, ask for referrals. When you bring people on, tell them that you're paid two ways. One, to help them by helping them out, and also that they have to give you new people, or you have to ask for referrals, or they won't give them to you. Bull crap. When somebody asks you for a referral, when you're on the receiving end of that, when somebody asks you for a referral because they just put in windows to your house, or they just sold you a car, or they just put siding on your house, how does it make you feel when they try to pressure you for people to go and bug to sell them something? How does it make you feel, guys? Great or icky? Great or, it takes that great, wonderful feeling you have about what just happened and makes you uncomfortable, right? So referrals don't work unless you can get unless you can get the client's friends or relatives to do this. See, when a client, if a client loves you enough to try to give you a referral, and they go to their neighbor or they go to their brother and say, hey, you should work with my guy, man, he's awesome. He did a great job for me. He gave me a great income plan. He's doing a great job with my investments. What does their friend or their brother say? I got a guy. So what does that make your client feel like? Your client just got rejected. Your client just got rejected. Okay? So when are they going to refer again? So doing referrals the normal way do not work. So what we want to do is get referrals in a way that's palatable and fun for the client. So how can we do that? See, because we need to reject rejection. We got to make sure that our clients are never rejected. Do you get that? That's why referrals don't work, because anytime they try to refer somebody over, they get rejected. It makes them feel bad. So what tools do we have in the 5Q tool chest to get referrals without actually asking for referrals? So the client actually wants to do that, give us referrals without getting rejected from their friends or relatives. Well, the first thing is we have the full checklist light. Okay? Oops. Full checklist light. So if you have not done a 21 light on all your clients, you are missing the boat. So why do you want to do a 21 checklist light with all your clients? Well, let me ask you this. Why will your clients all of a sudden give you referrals after you do a 21 light when they weren't giving you referrals prior to that? Does anybody know? See, let's say your clients love you, and I think they do, and let's say they're happy, and they wouldn't be with you if they weren't. So here's the thing. They love you, and they're happy with what you gave them, but if all you gave them was an investment, they know that if you refer them to their parents, or you refer them to their brother, or you refer them to their friend, what are you going to do with them? You're going to try to sell them the same product you had. So even though I love my siding, even though I love my windows, I'm not going to refer them to my neighbors or my friends to try to get them to, if they need windows, they'll go find no windows. If they need siding, they'll ask about the siding. But I don't want them to be pressured to get new windows or siding because I sick them on them. So even though they love you and they love the product you gave them, they don't want to make any referrals because they know what you're going to do when you see their friend, neighbor, relative is try to sell them that product. Now, when you do a 21 light, here's the funny thing. Are we selling anything with the 21 light? No. Now, and here's what happens. They see these things and they think, wow, these are awesome. Wow, I should be doing these things. And then all you need to do is one little thing and say, now, do your parents have these? Do your relatives have these? Because if they're a center of influence, who will their parents or who will their relatives go to when all the you-know-what hits the fan and they need help because they didn't have any of these things done? They're going to go to the children, or they're going to go to their brother, their older brother that's going to help them. And so they don't look at, when you do the 21 light for them, they're no longer thinking about you're going to sell them a product. But they're becoming selfish. They're not looking to help you. They're not even looking to help their parents. They're protecting themselves because they know if their parents don't have these things done and done right, who's going to have to help their parents? They are. And it's going to take a little time or a lot of time, Wade? A lot of time. So they start pushing their parents towards you because they don't want to take care of these things. And they don't want these things to be not taken care of because that's even worse. So they don't want to help their parents do these things, and more than that, they don't want their parents to not do these things and then have to dig their parents out of the hole that's going to get them into. So you start to get referrals from this. So when, I've had guys doing 21 lights with their clients that make 50 grand. That's a regular basis. Every month we have somebody that comes on that does 21 lights with the clients and will make, not bring in $50,000 in new money. No, make $50,000 to put in their own checking account. And here's how it happens. They'll find $10,000, they'll find $25,000 with their clients. Not huge things. They've got most of the clients' money, but they'll find a little $15,000 deal, $25,000 deal here. But then they'll get a referral to their parents who have $500,000. They get a referral to their brother who has $250,000. See, it's the referrals that happen from the 21 lights where you get the big tickets. You'll find little $10,000, $15,000, $20,000 things, but it's the big tickets you get from the referrals. If you have not done 21 lights with all of your clients, first of all, what is going on? Because you either believe in the 21 or you don't. And if all your clients don't have these things taken care of, what are you saying about what you believe in the 21? That it's something that is important, or it's just a little party trick that you use to bring on clients. So if your clients, all your clients, if I call up all your clients and said, do you have a 21? Missy, how many of my clients had 21s?
Every single one of them.
If all your clients don't have 21s, first of all, you don't believe in the 21-point checklist. You are part of the problem, because you know what you're saying? Hey, look at all these advisors don't do these things. Well, guess what? You're not doing those things. And here's the other thing. You're missing out on real money, because the 21-point checklist with your clients will get you referrals. Okay?
And can I jump in there with that
please.
too? Here's the other thing I always tell people. You have to do these 21 lights. We don't. I know a lot of people that come on, and I'm not going to say any names, but I know a lot of people that don't do but one or two or three. We don't bring on people that don't have clients. If you're brand new in the industry, I don't think we've brought on anybody in the last year. We might make an exception, or we might make one or two exceptions in a year to bring on people who haven't been in the industry before. If you don't have experience, we're not bringing you on. So everybody on the call has clients, but not everybody on the call has gone back and done 21 lights, or they've done one or two and said, I'm ready to market. Here's the problem with that. I always tell people the 21 light is like preseason. So there's 7 topics in there that if you did 21 lights with all of your clients, guess how good you'd be at those 7? You'd be good. And what you're telling me when you say, I just want to market and I don't want to have to go back and do all these 21 lights is, I just want to jump right into the regular season. Good luck with that. I mean, if you're going to play, if you're just going to jump into a game with no experience, no playbook, no practices, no preseason, you will lose.
Well, Jeff, if you got paid a lot of money to pay in the preseason, what would you do?
Yeah, absolutely, I'd play. And you guys get paid money to get all that. You're right. You don't even have to pay money. In fact, you make money when you play in the preseason. So don't discount this and think this isn't a big deal. It's a big deal. It's a big deal for a lot of reasons. One, this is how you get experience. This is your preseason, so that when you start spending money on marketing, you have a lot of confidence. I've already played in some preseason games. I might not be doing as good as I could or as good as I will, but I'm not brand new at this, number one. And number two, it really is self-perpetuating. When you do this with your clients, you do get some money and you do get referrals, which allows you, everybody wants to get referrals. This is an easy way to get referrals. So if you're not doing this, you need to start. It's a like we said, it's a way you get paid to get experience and get referrals.
So if you've got anybody that you have not, on your client list that have not done 21, you need to do the 21 with them. What if you got young people? Well, you do the 21 light, and like I just said, if you've done college planning, there you've got a young clientele. Do them with those folks, and then say, hey, have your client or if your parents had these things done? Like I said, that's how you get referrals. Make sense? Next thing is monthly epidemic marketing pieces. So you should be sending out your clients and your prospects the monthly newsletter, the POK checklist, which is a little gift that you give them every single month. It's a checklist. Sometimes they're going to be great gifts. Sometimes they're going to be lousy gifts. So here's the example I give. So let's say that Jeff's having a party and I bring over wine and they don't like wine, what would you do, Jeff? Would you think, man, what a jerk Mike is? He brought wine and I don't even drink wine. Is that what you'd be thinking?
No, I'd be okay with it. I think that was nice. That was a nice gesture.
Yeah, this is a nice gesture. So the POK checklist, some months were going to be things that they want. Some months there would be things that, well, that's nice, but it's not a big deal. But just the fact that you gave that to them is a big deal. And it costs you what? A sheet of paper, because you're mailing it in the same envelope. And these guys, these have to go in snail mail. They have to go in the mail, not emailed. Email gets deleted. Mail gets opened and read. So you'd be sending out this newsletter, which is about non-financial things. You put in the POK checklist, which costs you one sheet of paper, no postage. And then you also put in the walk down memory lane, which is everybody loves the walk down memory lane. So you're putting these three things in, and that only costs you a piece of paper too. So you got one stamp and 3 pieces of paper, but they have 3 totally separate things that make them look forward to your monthly newsletters. And they're not about financial things. Guys, if you're sending out financial newsletters, you're an idiot. If you're sending out financial newsletters, you're an idiot. Why? Let's see if anybody knows the answer to that. Why are you an idiot if you're sending out financial newsletters? Who reads financial newsletters? I agree, Tim, you're right. Few people read them. Who does read financial newsletters? Do-it-yourselfers. That's who reads them, so great. Guess who's reading? That's right, Jerry. Do-it-yourselfers read them. Yeah, the garbage man also. So here's the thing, guys. The people we want, they want you to do all the financial stuff, but they do want now the newsletter. Jeff does a great job in the newsletter of getting things that are helpful and are on the fringes of finance, but not actually about their investments. Because if you go out on a date and the only thing you talk about is money, money? Yeah, well, that'd be weird if you go on a date and the only thing you talk about is money. If you go on a date and the only thing you talk about is sex, what does she know about you? You're only interested in one thing, which is sex. If you only send them out information about money, what's it tell them about you? All you want is their money. You're not there to help them. You're not there to be their friend. You're not there to make their lives better. You just want to get their money. So all these 3 things are not about money. They're on the fringes of money. So if I went back into personal production, I have about 15,000 households in Rochester that I could that would fall into my marketplace. Guess what I would do for the first year? Now you don't have to do this, but I'm telling you, I would send out that these 3 pieces to all people in my marketplace. That's how I would market. So for a full year, every single month they're going to get 3 pieces from me. At the end of the year, how many households in that 15,000 people would know who I am? Probably 10,000. So when I send out a seminar invite, when I send out an eye-to-eye invite, how many of them are going to feel like they know me and it's okay to come see me? Because I'm not just talking about money. So you don't have to do that. I would do it with cold people. You don't have to. But if you're not doing it with your clients and your prospects, you're crazy. You are crazy. Because we've been doing this for 16 years. I cannot tell you how many success stories we get from guys every single month with people calling up that they hadn't talked to in 15 months, that they hadn't talked to for 2 years, or that they done an eye-to-eye last October and all of a sudden they didn't show up and now they want to come in. Guys, you got to be doing this. Would you hand letter the client's address? No, you don't need to do that. You don't need to hand address the things on the front. If you put a real stamp on it, guess what people are going to do? Open it. And then once they see what's inside, yeah, go ahead, Jeff.
Well, here's the other thing I say about that too is, I'll tell you straight up, if you did this with just your clients and your warm prospects, you might have a list of only 300 or 400 at most. So you're really talking about not spending a lot of money to stay in front of these 300 or 400 a long, long time. And here's what I would tell you. You might only get 4 or 5 cases a year out of it because they have to be dripped on over time. But here's the thing I've learned about those 4 or 5. That can be the difference between writing 2 million and 3.5 million. Because those 4 or 5, when they come in, they're working with you.
They're done.
So, I mean, it might be only 4 or 5, but hey, if that's an extra $1.5 million, that makes a big difference in your year.
This is a tool you gotta use. And what I would do with that tool is when you have your annual reviews, you say, hey, how do you like those newsletters? And everybody loves them. So you ask what? Do you know anybody else that would like to receive those? Build that list. And when should you take somebody off? If it's costing me about $6 or $7 a year to keep somebody on that list, when should I drop somebody off that list? Because remember, it's costing you 3 pieces of paper, an envelope, and a stamp. So it's costing you about $7 a year. When should you drop somebody off that list? Yeah, when they're dead. That's it. That's the only time I'm going to drop them off. Okay? Next thing, annual reviews. When you do annual reviews with your clients, the first thing you should do is go through your 21 with them. So then if you got your survivor's guide filled out, well, you haven't. Oh, geez, you got to get that. Do you still have it? I'll give you another one. You go through that. You just go through all 21, all the 21, reminding them that you're about more than just the money. Okay? So it's reminding them, boy, this is all the stuff that you've done for them. And then you need to make sure then you ask them, hey, do you know anybody that just moved to town? Do you know it? Hey, yeah, my neighbor did. Do you know anybody who just got married, just got divorced? Hey, do you know who needs to do a 21-point checklist, guys? Somebody that just got divorced. Why? Somebody that just got married. Why? Do you know anybody that just turned 7.5, changed jobs, turning 62 to 65? See, here's the thing. It's weird how our mind works. If I ask 2 people to list all the things that come to mind in the next minute, here's the funny thing. I've got a question for you. This is how our minds work. If I told somebody, list all the things that could be in a refrigerator, or list all the white things that could be in a refrigerator, which one do you think would be the bigger list? If I said, list all the things that could be in a refrigerator, or I say, list all the white things that could be in a refrigerator, which one do you think they would list more of? Wade's got it, all the white things. See, when you say all, it's too big. They can't even think, it's just too many things. When I say white, it kind of narrows them down so they can think, oh, boom, 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 boom. And that's what you're doing here. When you say, do you know anybody that might need help? They're like, I can't think of anybody. But when you say, hey, do you know anybody who just moved to town? They're like, oh, yeah, I know. Yeah, Jim and Mary did, right next door neighbors. They're great people. Or, do you know anybody who just got married? Oh, yeah, the second marriage, blah, blah, blah. Or somebody got divorced. Oh, yeah, my best friend got divorced. See, now they start to think of people. You're giving them a context, a point of reference. So this is something you should always have out when you're doing an interview. And why do you want to do it right after you do a 21? For the very reason I talked about the 21 Lite. Because they think that they'd be referring somebody to you so you could sell them a product, or you could get all those great things that you just did with the 21 done for them. So are you doing this? If I was to guess, all the people on the phone right now, how many are doing it? Guys, how much does it cost you to do that? Nothing. Nothing, nothing, nothing. So make sure you're asking these questions, okay? Now, when you do a full 21 with a new client, brag a little. Brag a little. See, let them know how much money you spent. So first of all, go and watch this video. So if you go to marketing, eye to eye, under the training scripts, watch this 7-minute video. I'm only asking you to watch 7 minutes. Where do we get this $3,216 on average that we get people in benefits that they are owed but aren't receiving? Now, those of you who've done 21s, is this am I underestimating or overestimating? If you've watched this video and you see all the things that we do for clients and the benefits that we find them that they're owed and not getting, is this 3216, is that small, or do we really get them a lot more? Yeah, way underestimating, way underestimating. But here's the thing, if you don't remind them of that at the end of the meeting, guess what you get? You get no credit. You just get, that's nice. You got to tell them how much money you just made them and saved them. So the way I used to do it is I had a box, a cigar box, and I had $3,000 in it. In hundreds, 50s, and 20s. $3,000. So after I got done with the 21-point checklist, I'd always do this. I say, can I show you how much money this is actually we're saving here? And they say, okay. They wouldn't know what I was talking about. Okay. And I'd walk over to my shelf, and I'd pull out the cigar box so it didn't look like it was all staged. I'd grab the cigar box, bring it out, and I'd pull out a wad of cash. Big wad of cash, $3,000. And I don't care how much somebody's worth. When you pull out $3,000 cash, guess what happens to their eyes? Guess what happens to their attention? You get their attention. And then what I would do is I'd want to count out as many bills as I can. So I would, beforehand, I'd be thinking, I want to count out as close to $3,000 as I can. So am I saving them this every month? Am I saving it every quarter? Am I saving $3,000 every 6 months or every year? Whatever it is, I'm gonna try to make sure I'm counting out $3,000. So let's say I'm saving them $6,000. I found $6,000 in benefits they're owed but aren't getting. So what I'm going to do is say, well, here's what it's like. Somebody every 6 months walking up to your door, knocking on your door, and you answer the door and they say, hey, it's me again. And then you hold out your hand and then they count. And I would count them out, guys. I'd go 100, 200, 300, 400, 500, 600. I would count all that money all the way up, and then I would give it to them. Or I'd slide it over to them and say, it's like somebody every 6 months knocking on your door giving you that money. Now, did you have to pay tax on that money? Well, I don't think so. Nope, you didn't. Did you have to work for that money? No, I didn't have to work for it. And then what happens 6 months from now? They do it again? Yeah, they do it again. And what happens 6 months after that? They do it again? Yeah, they do it again. So that's how much money that you're getting, or that we found today, of benefits that you're owed but aren't receiving. So should you be getting some of that money or all of that money every 6 months? All of it. Do I get to keep this money? I'm saying you do get to keep this money, and you do get to keep it every single 6 months going forward when you follow through on the plan. And then I grab that money back. Guys, when you shove that money in front of them and then you pull it back, guess what goes on inside them internally? They just what? Yeah, they feel lost, Joe. They just felt it was taken away from them, and they want it. And of course, after that, you think, what? When would be the best time to say, do you know anybody else that would want an extra $6,000 per year? Brag a little. Let them know how much you've actually saved them, and that's the time you want. And do you say, give me a referral, or do you say, you know anybody else that wants $6,000 a year? Let them know what you've done for them. Are you all doing this? I talk about this about twice a year, and then people will do it once, and then they quit doing it. If you're not doing this, guys, you're crazy. You're crazy. Heck, if you can't afford $3,000, get $1,000, and then count that up. This is how much you're losing every single week, or whatever it may be. Okay? Yeah, I don't know if you'd save them $52,000 a year, but maybe a month. Okay? Does that make sense? So make sure you're doing that, and that allows them to see that. Would you be referring somebody to you to sell them a product, or are you going to be referring somebody to you to find free money? That's what they'll refer to you for. Make sure you're awesome at the elevator speech. So, getting started, toolbox, 5Q elevator conversation. It says, I get homeowners in Rochester born before 1956 an average of $3,612 in annual government benefits and private benefits they weren't aware that they were owed, using the full checklist software that draws from 21 different data points, including Social Security, state, and local databases. Guys, do I read that whole thing out to them as an elevator conversation? No. You break it into a conversation. What you say is, what is it that you do? Well, I get homeowners here in Rochester born before 1956, an average of $3,612 in annual government and private benefits they weren't aware they owed. So what do people say when you say that? For those of you who've done this, what do people say? Yeah, how? That's what they say, Wade. How? I say that, well, I use this cool new software called Full Checklist. Have you ever had that done with you? No. I mean, how do you get it done? Oh, it's really cool. It draws from 21 different databases, including Social Security, state, federal, local databases, and tells you all that you're, kind of works like, you know what Expedia, you ever heard of Expedia, Travelocity, those things? It's basically the same thing, only for finances. Yeah, you can actually get it done free of charge. It's pretty cool. Really? How do I get that done? Guys, how awesome should you be at this? How much does it cost for you to get somebody using this? Nothing. So when somebody asks what you do, this is what you do. So I would like Jeff, myself, Jerry, and JV, when we're talking on the phone to you, we're going to be asking you, what do you do for a living? And if you can't do this, if you're with me, guess what you're going to get? If you're on the phone with me and I ask you, hey, what do you do? And you can't do this, guess what you're going to get from me? An earful, that's right. Why? Because it costs you nothing. It costs you nothing. Now, do you understand why I'm saying homeowners? Is homeowners specific or not specific? It's very specific. Rochester, specific. 1956, specific. $3,612, specific. 21 data points, specific. Guys, the more specificity you have in what you do, the more people believe you. So you should have this locked in. Locked in. So Jerry, I know you're on the phone. JV, Jeff, we need to be asking them this, because if they can't do this, that's a problem. This is free money that you get. Okay? The Halo system. You should, this is under library, archive library, Halo system. It's how you can utilize your place of worship and offer the things that you offer without being obnoxious and grotesque with the people at the place that you worship. So these are people that are the perfect referral resources, but we don't want to be a jerk in pushing finance and everything else during, while we're at our place of worship. But if you read that system, what you can do is after the service and you're having donuts, or you're out in the parking lot and somebody says, how's business? You better be able to tell them how business is. And should you say great? No, you're going to say, great. Earlier this week I worked with a couple that just retired and was able to get a tax that they pay on their investment income down to 1.5% tax rate. You should have seen their faces when I walked through how to cut their taxes by 90%. It was priceless. And boy, they're happy campers. It's just a shame that there's so many couples that are walking around that don't know they could use Internal Revenue Code 72 to chop their taxes by 90%. But every time I do this for someone, they give me a referral, and it's awesome. Like, I mean, I love doing what I do. Let them know what you've done for somebody. You don't say it's great. You know when you say, you know who you say it's great to? Somebody you don't want to talk to, somebody you don't want as a client. Then you say, oh, it's great. Otherwise, give them a success story. Give them a case study. Case studies are proven as the best way to market. Case studies. You're not going to be able to hand them a case study. Give them a verbal case study. Please read the Halo system, because you can use that at your place of worship. You can use that at your local Harley club. You can use that at your garden club. You can use that at your Rotary. This is what you should say when somebody says, what did you do, or how is your business doing? You tell them how your business is doing, what you're doing, and tell them a success story, okay? How much does it cost you to do this? And again, I'm going to be asking you these things when you call me up, and Jeff and JV and Jerry, I hope you are too. You need to be awesome at this, because how much does it cost to do this? Nothing, okay? Client Advisory Board system. This is a way to get 9 awesome referrals once a quarter. So you should be going to, again, to Archive Library, Client Advisory System. You should be doing this once a quarter with your clients. So you get about 5 clients, and you do a Client Advisory Board. And if you follow the system, the whole Client Advisory Board is designed to get them to give you referrals. It's designed to get them to give you referrals. That's what the client, and they don't know that. What you're going to do is they're going to, just to kind of give you a Cliff Notes version, you're going to work with them to have them give you an elevator speech, and you're going to tell, the whole thing goes into how you get them to give you that elevator speech. And then what you're going to ask them to do is go tell them that we never know an elevator speech is working unless 50% of the time people say, how do you do that? So I'd like you to go out, after you've gone through 2 or 3 sessions with them and they develop the 5Q or the elevator speech, then you're going to ask them to go out and do that with 10 people to see if at least 5 of them say, how do you do that? So if you have 5 people going out to 10 people, how many people is that? That's 50. You're not going to get 50, but you will get on average 9 referrals from it. You're not going to get 50, but you will get an average of 9 referrals from this when you do it. And guys, I only have maybe on any particular quarter 3 or 4 guys doing it. You should all be doing this once a quarter, because after you get the 5, then the next quarter you're going to do what? You're going to get another 5 people. And you see how by the end of the year from now, you can go back to your current clients or the clients you brought on over last year and do more. So over the whole year, you only need 20 clients to do this 4 times. Okay? And it costs you virtually nothing. It costs you juice and donuts to do this. So if you don't have anybody to see right now, we're going to be asking you, we're going to go through and ask you, are you doing these things? Also, digital online directory. Have you done the digital online directory system, again, in the archive library, so that when people in your area look for anything financial, your name, address comes up on that Google map. You show up on who to contact. If they're looking for an advisor, if they're looking for investments, you will come up. If they're local, you're going to come up. Have you done the digital online directory? If you don't know how to do it, you should do what, guys? The directions are right there. If you don't know how to do this, even after reading the directions, you can't do it, but you should be able to do it. I mean, it's easy direction. But if you can't, what should you do? What should you do? Well, don't call because we're not going to do it for you. What do you need to do? Find somebody to do it for you. If you don't want to do it yourself, there are tons of people out there that can help you do this kind of stuff. Again, it's very easy, but heck, call your local high school. Call the local community college. Say you want to pay somebody $100 to come on and do this for you. A high schooler could do this in the afternoon. Okay? Also, the Friends Helping Friends program. Do you have that referral system set up? If you don't have a referral system set up, we've done it for you. Just go and implement the Friends Helping Friends program. How many of you have done that? Then the last thing is, here's the thing. We have a system that if you have clients, you could do this once a month. Grab 3 of them, have them bring friends, take them out to dinner, and then we have a half-hour to 40-minute presentation called The Reports of My Death Have Been Greatly Exaggerated presentation package. So we have an invitation letter that gets them to bring their friends and a little script that how you deal with it when they call up and say they want to come but they don't want to bring friends. To let them know they can't come unless they bring friends. But it's a very small, intimate gathering. So you're going to have 3 clients, so that's 6 people. They each bring a friend. That's another 6 people, so it's only 12 people. And it's a 30-minute to 40-minute presentation, and people love this because they're going to leave with information. They're going to leave with a couple of free gifts that cost you nothing to give them, but they're going to think, wow, this is awesome. And they're sitting next to their friends, and they're going to say, is this guy really for real? I mean, he showed us a couple of good things here. These are things I'd never heard about before. Is he really like this all the time? And your friends are going to, or your clients are going to say, what? Yeah, absolutely. So you should be doing this at least once per month. You should be doing this once per month. And now, so go here and read how to do it in that presentation package. So here's the thing. When we ask you, hey, how are you getting in front of people the next month? If you're not doing an eye-to-eye, if you're not doing a seminar, then we're going to say, well, then guess what? We're going to go to the website, and each week I'm going to want you to tell me, have you done 21 lights on all your clients? Then we're going to go, you got the epidemic marketing going? And then I'm going to say, have you done 21, when you do 21-point checklist, are you doing this? Client reviews, are you doing these things to do client reviews? How awesome are you at the elevator speech? Have you read the Halo presentation yet, or the Halo system yet? Do you know what to do when somebody says how is business? Do you have the Friends Helping Friends program in place? Do you have your digital online in place? Do you have a client advisory board being actively done right now? Are you doing client referral dinners? We're going to go through, and you need to check all these things out. Guys, once you have these things up and running, guess how easy they are to continue? Once you have these things up and running, how easy are they to continue? And guess how much any of these things cost? Diddly-do. The only thing that costs money is a client referral dinner, and you're only serving 12 people, and if your clients bring, 3 clients bring 1 person each, you're going to get minimum 1 new client out of that, and guess what that's going to cost you? Diddly-do. So guys, because you're going to basically, on 1 client, you're going to make 10 grand, so the fact that you spent $500 to do this is diddly-do. So does this, Jeff, does this require work to do these things?
Yeah, it requires work to do those things.
So, like you said earlier, either people have money and they're doing seminars and they're doing eye-to-eye, or they don't have money and they're doing what?
They should be doing these things. And here's the great thing about these things, guys. You know, when you have just one thing going at any one time, then you might get 3 or 4 people from it, maybe more. You know, we don't know. But if you have multiple things going, you might get 3 people from your eye-to-eye. You might get one person that month from your drip system. You might get 1 person from your 21 lights. You might get 1 person as the result of your elevator speech. But that's the difference between getting 7 and 3 in a month.
And if you get 7, guess what you're making in a year, guys? If you get 7 people a month moving all their money to you, how much are you making per year? That's $1 million income, guys. So when you call us and you say, I don't know how I'm getting people in front of people in the next month, we're going to be holding you accountable because if you don't have any money, guess what you have plenty of, guys? If you don't have any money, guess what you have plenty of? Wade says time. Is he the only person telling me? You better all say time. So you've got time to do these things. If you tell me you don't have time, you're going to get an earful from me. Because then if you don't have money and you don't have time, what are you doing? Wasting your time. And I will help you focus and do the right things, okay? Because that's why you came on, to make money. So, have we given you a ton of tools here that cost you virtually nothing except for this last one to make you tons of money, to make you $1 million income? If you tell me you're not comfortable going back to your current people, I'm going to kick your butt out the door. Because are any of these things hurting your clients or helping your clients? Did any one of these things talk about selling your clients a product? So we got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Any of these things about selling a product? So if you're afraid to go back to your clients and help them, where you're not even selling a product, oh my gosh. You are not worth our time to help because you've got some sort of defeatist problem with your situation. So this is the stuff you should be running in the background when you're doing eye-to-eyes and you got spare time. Get, like Jeff said, just get one of these running, and then once it's up and running, you're great. Then get another one going, and then when you get another one going, because these all run in the background, and once you get them up and running, they don't really require any effort. Yeah, it requires effort to get them going, but once they're up and running, it requires no effort. So if you have all these things running in the background, I mean, I had a guy in Wisconsin, a small town in Wisconsin, who he regularly makes $1 million a year. Why? None of his, he does no marketing. He just has these things running in the background. He goes, Mike, I'll just be honest with you. These all kind of suck because I only get 1 or 2 people a month from them. I was like, well, thanks a lot, dude. He goes, no, I'm just kidding. They all suck, but together, I'm getting, I'm bringing on 7, 8 people per month. So when you know what? They can all suck, and they all are put together, these things all add up to $1 million a year income, guys. Okay? So, Missy, where can they find this particular, located in the archive library? So,
yep, there's actually, it's out there a couple of places. One is underneath the toolbox, and then the other one is underneath archive library.
Super. So, was this helpful, guys? And do we have your permission to get on you if you're not doing active marketing to do these things? One, not all of them all, are we talking about getting them all done tomorrow, Jeff, or just one at a time?
No, the way I look at them is, think of them, guys, as oil wells. It takes a bit of digging and a lot of work to get an oil well up and running, but once it's running, how much attention do you need to pay to it, or after that it just starts paying you money? So yeah, just do one a month if you can.
Yeah, there's one a month, and you have them all up and running within 10 months, and then you got these oil wells just pumping new people every single month to you. So please take advantage of this. Don't just say, this is a good idea, hang up the phone, and then go back to what you're always doing. And remember, guys, when you've mastered the scripts and the motive, and you're doing your 15 minutes a day with the 15-minute drills and GOTS, and you're looking at your 5-minute moneymaker, that's when every client you meet will move all their money to you. If every client you're meeting is not giving you all their money, you need to do what, guys? If every client you meet is not moving all their money to you, what do you need to do? One of two things. Figure out for yourself what you're doing wrong, and then go back to the tutorials, or send a tape to Jeff or myself, and we'll help you figure out what's wrong and send you back to the tutorials. Because if you do the tutorials, what will people say? 20 times they're going to say, I don't trust my guy. And if they don't trust their guy, guess what they're going to do? They're going to move their money to you. Make sense? Awesome. So go. I mean, let's hit it hard, guys. We've got, we're 2 months, we're a month and a half in to the year. So we need, if you want to have a great year, now is the time to be doing this stuff, okay? So have a great week, and we'll talk to you all next Monday. Thanks, everybody.